Vogue, strike a pose. Today I'm using shades 332 and 335, which together gives me my perfect match. They have about 40 shades, so you have a high chance of finding your perfect match or damn near close. My face is clean, prepped, and primed, so let's get started. On the packaging, it states the following. This is for normal to oily skin types. It mattifies and refines pores, matches natural skin tone, and provides a natural, seamless finish. Right off the bat, this foundation does not have a pump, which I absolutely hate because this causes not only a mess, but you will tend to use more than you need to. So what I would recommend is pouring it into a dish or some type of like makeup palette. I'm gonna take a brush and I'm just going to mix my foundation. So I put equal parts of both. Okay, and then now I'm just going to dot it on my face. Now I like my foundation's full coverage, so I'm applying a generous amount. I'm just keeping it a buck. Now I'm going to use my beauty blender to blend all this out. So before setting my foundation, I like to let it sit on my skin, give it time to kind of marinate, because foundations, once it hits your skin, the temperature of your body will kind of manipulate the ingredients in the foundation. So with some foundations, the foundation will tend to oxidize, which means gets darker after it sets on your skin. So I want to know and make sure that I'm getting the true finish on my face. So before, I put on my powders and my concealers and all that fancy stuff and the things that zhuzh up the face, I want to make sure that it's true to color and true to finish, so I know if I need to manipulate things on my own to make sure that everything is perfect before I step out my door. You know what I'm saying? So after about 5 minutes, this is the final result. Pores aren't very noticeable. It's definitely giving a matte finish. Coverage is to my liking and it doesn't feel heavy at all. So let me go ahead and complete this look and I'll give you my final opinion. Okay, fancy, so this is the final look. See, so overall, this is a pretty good foundation for drugstore makeup. I'm just saying, like, all jokes aside, it really does give a good coverage. I've actually worn this a few times and the coverage is actually pretty good for drugstore makeup. It is buildable, which I personally like to build my foundation. However, that is definitely a preference. Overall wear, it does control the oil very well for a few hours. I've worn this foundation in different scenarios, different environments, different times of the day, and it still holds up. So I would definitely give a thumbs up on that. After a while, I would say maybe about the 8-hour mark, I will start to have a dewy matte finish, but nothing where I feel like I have to constantly blot. If you do have excessive oil, you probably will notice some oil maybe within the 3 to 4 hour mark. But if you're someone like me who's just generally oily in the T-zone and normal everywhere else, this is going to last you a few hours before you feel you're going to have to touch up or blot anything. I definitely will not recommend this to my dry fancies, as this will definitely cake up on you. It's not going to give you much movement or flexibility, which is what you need, because this will settle into fine lines. If you're someone who has a lot of texture, large pores, acne prone skin, I definitely would not recommend this foundation, as I feel it will settle into that texture. You want a foundation that's going to basically smooth over and hover over the texture. You don't want anything settling in, and I definitely feel like this foundation will do that, so I would stay away if you do have a lot of texture on the skin. Now for the keeping it real scores. For packaging, I would give it a 3. It is compact. I love the squared rectangular shape of it. It's easy to fit in certain areas of your makeup bag or things that have certain compartments. However, it doesn't have a pump, so you definitely lost points in my book when you don't have a pump. I'm sorry. It's just like, why don't you have a pump? Why don't you have a pump? It needs a pump. It needs a pump. It needs a pump. It needs a pump. Why not have a pump? Now for application, I'm going to give it an 8. It did blend very well with my beauty blender. However, if you did use it with a brush, you would probably most likely have to go in with a sponge after to kind of smooth out the lines or blend it out better, because with a brush it might leave some streaks because of the texture and the finish that it gives. So I do recommend using this with a beauty blender sponge. As far as coverage, I'm going to give it a 7. It did hide my imperfections, however, not as well as I anticipated. I do notice that I have to use a lot more product to get the coverage that I want versus my luxury foundations where I only have to use about a pump or 2 to get my desired coverage. And when you're using that much product, what happens? It goes through quickly and you're having to replenish the product sooner than you anticipated. I'm used to full coverage foundations, and I would not categorize this foundation as full coverage. I would categorize it as medium to buildable. Now for overall wear. With all things considered, I'm going to give this foundation a 7. It has great coverage. However, it is going to require you to build in order for you to get full coverage. If you're someone like me who likes full coverage makeup, you want no imperfections coming through, I definitely suggest building with this foundation. But because it's drugstore, compared to picking up a foundation at Sephora, Ulta, Macy's, Nordstrom, this is definitely going to save you some coins. So if you are in need of a new foundation, but you can't really dish out $50, $60, $70 on a new foundation, I do suggest picking this one up. However, if you are dry, I would steer clear of this foundation. But if you're normal to oily or a combination, this definitely might be the foundation for you. If you have given it a try, please leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts on this foundation and how it compares to your favorite foundation, or how it compares to one of your luxury foundations, and if you've seen there's a similarity or a huge difference and how it matches up to your skin. Alright y'all, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye.